when people see all the fantastic things that you see here at KURZ, I think a lot of people think about what about the environmental impact on not only the foils and all the things you see, but also the site, the production, and all these things. And Ralph, let us talk about that. But before we do that, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ralph Hopfensitz. I'm Senior Vice President, Global Technology, responsible for the technology part of the group, and also responsible for the sustainability and environmental issues.
I would say that one of the things that I can't help think about is that you do so many wonderful things. And KURZ, as an old, well-established company industry, I think that the demands from customers to getting faster machines and better machines and all those kind of things has now that extra spice that now you also have to be sustainable.
Well, you know what? I would say we always had sustainability in mind. Many years already ago, we already started in the 70s to take care about environmental issues, about any things which come up from our production, how we're going to treat this, how we're going to make it environment friendly. So we were actually in the 70s a company which helped developing exhaust systems or taking care of exhaust fumes from the production to make it really environmentally clear. So sustainability environmentally is not something new for us. Okay, maybe it's a now really modern word and everybody talks it. For us, it's daily business for centuries already. But you're right, in the last years, it became a lot more intensive and a lot of customers ask now a lot more questions than they ever did before.
One of the reasons why I ask is because I think that I appreciate everything you say about that you have taken care of the environmental from the KURZ side, of course. I was just thinking that if you look at how the environmental agenda is developing over these past maybe 5-10 years at least, it is not just about the production and the products you produce, but also the end of life of the products.
Absolutely.
Is that something that you have started to look even more into in the past years? Or
you're 100% right. Yeah. Especially our customers in the last years, they ask questions they never asked before. And they ask questions which basically have more to do with their own product than maybe with ours. Because they ask us, if the product I'm producing, is it sustainable? Is it recyclable? And these were a lot of questions where we really had to go in detail and make evaluations and do tests. We did this with third parties from outside to be also neutral. And this actually really took a big part of the last 3 to 4 years to work on these questions and give our customers answers to their questions. Absolutely.
And I was thinking that it must be a huge advantage seen from a KURZ perspective that you own a quite reasonable size of the value chain from the machine manufacturing to the consumables, because I mean you can basically manage and control a little bit more of the value chain also from a sustainability perspective, right?
Absolutely, yeah. By having the whole production, knowing the whole production line of our customers, we can also evaluate their process better. Because since we are also a manufacturer for application machines, we know their process, we know the energy, we know the questions they have for how can we reduce the energy. We can do the combinations, product, machine, energy use, sustainability, de-inking, you name it, all these things come together, and as you said, it's all one big process. So it gives us the chance to really work on each single step.
And it must be fantastic to be in a position where you have both an environmentally perspective and a sustainable agenda, but at the same time you have it seems that you have still a huge growth opportunity. I mean, the need for this type of products and services that you can offer. I mean, just look at the bottles, just look at the labels, just look at the packaging that we see here at Label Weeks. It's just amazing. So even with the growth, you still have a business opportunity ahead of you, right?
Absolutely, yes, and it actually widens up the possibilities, and as I said, there are customers, they ask questions now, and you need to have answers for these questions. If you don't have these answers, there's some business you might not even be able to reach in the future. So it's absolutely important. It's a must.
Yeah. In Germany in particular, and Europe to some extent, the legislation is of course, sometimes pushing the boundaries of what you can do and what you have to do in the future as well. How important is that in your R&D and product development that you understand every aspect of the legislation perspective?
Absolutely, you have to be in close contact to these regulations, and as a matter of fact, it's not only the regulations which come out from outside to us, there are also some regulations which we actually put on ourselves to be more environmental friendly with our products. So there are topics which we give our R&D group to say, like, when you start now making a product, you need to have the recyclability in your mind. It's not that, you can't just leave this out. Whenever we have a new product now, there's one big topic on the list of points is this product in the end recyclable on our side with our process, with the residuals of our process, but also on the customer side with their end product, for example, the label, but also with their residual leftovers from their production. So we need to make this a full picture. Absolutely, it's an important topic and a lot of work for our R&D group.
And though it has been in the DNA of KURZ for many, many years, is it challenging to go beyond where your standards were from yesterday?
It is. In a lot of points, it's very challenging because it really, as I said, for example, in R&D, in some areas it limitations the possibilities. But it's interesting on the other side also. It makes you think totally different than you did maybe 15 years ago. And that's, I would say it's a positive challenge. It's an interesting work, and it's a very interesting approach to our products for the future.
And I would say also that the more you can push the environmental agenda, I think it also becomes a very important KPI, because the brand owners that are going to use the equipment that you supply and the substrates that you use, I mean, their demands will probably also be higher than legislation level because the consumers demand it, right?
Exactly, absolutely.
So huge competitive advantage, right?
It always depends on what the competition is doing. Nobody's taking this easy. I think everybody's working hard on this. But as of right now, we believe that in some points we are, in the point of sustainability, a market leader here. Yeah? And we want to keep this position, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.